Dear students, a very good evening to all of you. And last time we were reading about Bassanio while he was choosing the correct casket. He was taking part in the game of casket. Portia and all other attendants, they were waiting with bated breath. What will happen with Bassanio and Portia? They, all of them knew that both Portia and Bassanio were in love and they were waiting for the outcome. And we saw that Bassanio said before he chose, he said that I'm not going to be carried away by the outward beauty, the ornamentation of anything. And he pointed out so many things, whether it is in law, it is in religion, it is in apparent beauty of a woman. In every single case, it is the outward show that often deceives the onlookers. And that is why those persons who chose, who went by the outward show of the thing or the person, at every time they were deceived. They deceived themselves. That's why Bassanio is telling that I am not going to choose by the outward show of the caskets. So he chose the lead one, because at the top of the lead casket, on the lead, there was an inscription. The inscription says that if you choose me, we'll have to undergo all hazards. So, lead was the base metal. It did not cost much. And the thing which was written there, that was very natural for lead. So Bassanio thought that whatever is written on the lead of the leaden casket, it states exactly what it is. There is no pretension. There is no ornamentation. Whereas on the lid of the gold and the silver casket, there were so many things written in ambiguous words, in conundrum. Those things a lot of, promised high amount of return. But at the end, we saw that the golden casket and the silver casket, both of them actually deceived its chooser. The person who chose was deceived by the golden casket and at the same time the silver casket. So right now it is Bassanio's turn, and he is here to choose wisely, judiciously, and he did it. He chose the leaden casket, and after that, when he opened it, he found that it was Portia's portrait. Exact facsimile copy of Portia was there. Now, as Bassanio is getting amazed at the portrait, and he can't even believe his own eyes, his own senses, that such a beautiful portrait could be drawn by any human being, because this portrait was so similar to Portia's self, as if it seemed to Bassanio as if Portia herself is coming out of that portrait. It was so live. So he could not believe that any human being could draw such a beautiful painting. And then he uh, said something, that is, he exaggerated Portia's beauty by saying that Portia herself is so beautiful that if any human being looks at her so closely for such an amount of time, spend such a long span of time by watching Portia and drawing her portrait, that person, if that person is a human being, he must go blind, because it is the dazzle of Portia's beauty that will make his eyesight blind. So, according to Bassanio, it was a mere demigod who actually might have drawn Portia's portrait, who might have portrayed Portia's portrait. So, he said it, that otherwise it is not possible. Had there been any human being who might have tried to uh, draw Portia's portrait and might have watched, might have looked at Portia so such a long span of time, that person might have got blind uh, after finishing one eye of Portia. because Portia's eyes are dazzling, according to Bassanio. So after painting only one eye, one of the two eyes, that painter, had he been a human being, he would have gone blind. And Portia's portrait would have been left unfinished, a Jagannath. So because this portrait is not unfinished and it is so beautiful, such a facsimile copy, such a piece of perfection, then it must have been any demigod who might have portrayed Portia's portrait. That's what Bassanio said. See what I find here. Fair Portia's counterfeit, exact copy of Portia. What demigod hath come so near creation, demigod. Move these eyes, or while riding on the balls of mine, same day in motion. Another. So, are the eyes moving with me, eyeballs are moving with me? Or is it I who is getting moved by these beautiful eyeballs? Here are severed lips, the lips are parted, severed. Parted with sugar breath, and from the hollow of the lips, sugar breath is coming out. So sweet a bard should sunder such sweet friends. Yes. Here in her hairs, the painter placed the spider. The way the painter painted the hairs, drawn it as if the spider is weaving its web, its cobweb. That's why it is written, the painter plays the spider. Means as much adeptness, as much skill a spider has while it weaves its cobweb, it is the same skill the painter got, and because of which he could draw such intricate hairs, such beautiful hairlines. It is as if a spider is weaving the cobwebs. Hath woven a golden mesh to entrap the hearts of men. And the whole hair, the locks, it is like the cobweb. And it is the place where hearts of men, once they watch it, their hearts will cling to it. Just like insects, they got stuck in the cobweb. It is the hearts of the men that will be stuck in that hair once they saw it. And the way the insects, they got stick in the cobweb, human hearts of men, they will stick to the hairs of Portia even much faster than the insects. See? Faster than gnats in cobwebs. But her eyes, how could he see to do them? Having made one, methinks it should have power to steal both his and leave itself unfurnished. So, okay, let me think that the painter was a human being and he played the role of a spider while he painted the hairs. But when he painted the eyes, how could he do it? How could he finish it? After drawing only one, the dazzle of Portia's eyes might have made the painter blind, and he might have left the portrait unfinished. So it is sheer impossible for a human being to paint Portia's picture in such majestic way. It must have been some demigod who had more power to withstand Portia's beauty, and that's why he could paint it. How far the substance of my praise doth wrong this shadow. See, substance of my praise wrong this shadow. Substance is Portia, and shadow is the picture. Now Portia even surpasses the beauty of the portrait, the beauty which is visible, which is so alive in the portrait. It is even far more if you look at Portia, her living self. That's what Bassanio is telling, because he understood that I am praising the picture, the portrait, for a long time, using lofty words, without praising Portia herself. So this might have made Portia angry. So let me say that Portia is even better than that of the painting which I am praising right now. In underprising it, yet. So for this shadow doth limp behind the substance, and I believe the quality of beauty which is visible in the portrait is not more than that of the beauty which you can see if you look at Portia's living self. So it will fall back. Living Portia is even more beautiful than that of her portrait. So by saying so, actually, Bassanio is trying to mend his ways because he made a mistake by by keeping on praising Portia's portrait instead of praising Portia's self, her living self. So he just now wants to mend it, wants to make it equal. That's how he is describing the whole thing. So I believe you will keep on reading, and the moment you get confused or any doubt uh, troubles you, don't hesitate contacting me. Thank you very much, students. Tata.